All right, I think we're good to go, Taylor.
All right.
Fantastic. It's great to have you on today.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Thank you for
super exciting.
So for everyone, it's great for you to tune in, and you got all this time to tune in and to comment and to just be with us here today. We have a great guest, Taylor Burnett, who is a local musician, and today we're just pretty much going to be talking about music and just other funny things and just really inspirational stuff, actually.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we?
Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time. So I might as well make a video or post something on YouTube. So it's my podcast. Cool.
All right, and there we go. We are good to go for that. All right, so Taylor, first of all, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and explain to people like what you do and tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So many things. So I'm a local musician, as Austin said. I actually just came back from living in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Nice.
For, pandemic, quarantine, all that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
But found out living here permanently now. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Self-quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. So I play a lot of places: Southern Maine, Boston, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. Write my own music on Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz.
Hey,
It's
that's
just
great.
a whole world.
Yeah, you write a lot of music too, and I've seen some of your music, and we'll talk about your music future on.
Yeah.
So to go a little bit about that, why don't you talk about like your story, kind of like your did you go to college for music, and or did you learn anything? Like, when did you start really kind of playing music and kind of taking it seriously?
Yeah, so that's one giant question. So.
Yeah, sorry, that's like a mouthful right there.
No, it's like really great though. So I started actually when I was 12.
Wow.
I taught myself how to play guitar, did not have any lessons. I think the only closest thing to lessons was like my dad taught me like the first 3 chords, which is like every musician knows 3 chords you really need to know for everything are G, D, and C. And then it's like the root to every song.
Absolutely.
So he was like, here are 3 chords. And then after that, Googled, like, I think the first song I ever learned was Taylor Swift.
Wow.
So
yeah, she like, influenced a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. For me, I think it was Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was really, because I watched Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, and Joaquin Phoenix played that role so well that I was like, I gotta learn like Walk the Line or like Cocaine Blues or something like that. And I remember like, oh my God, yeah. And that for me was like it. And it was just E and A. And then that's when I kind of learned like the blues shuffle and stuff. And that's what I was like, yo, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like Johnny Cash was definitely a part of that too, but didn't come till maybe like my high school like career, and then I was like, Johnny Cash, yes.
It was great.
It like started with like, I remember my first 2 very inspirations were James Taylor and Taylor Swift.
James Taylor, that's that's actually really unique.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that to you, because not many people would say James Taylor. He is very inspirational and great at what he does, but it's your age, like, wow, that's really cool.
Well, I mean, honestly, like, fun fact that I don't think you knew, Austin, I was actually named after James Taylor.
Yeah. Taylor,
that was like, my parents were so obsessed with him. They were like, we're naming her Taylor. And I was like, okay, like, baby me was like, okay, like, I don't know who that is, but you'll teach me, I think.
Meanwhile, my dad was just eating Austin crackers out in the waiting room, and they go, what would be a good name for a boy? And he goes, oh, Austin sounds good. Good crackers.
Honestly, like, there you go.
But
inspiration comes in the weirdest of times.
It does. Sometimes it's crackers.
Yeah.
But on top of that, now, when did you start really? So you probably obviously started with just like learning covers. And just like, And so when was your first like original song?
When I was 12 years old.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Like, it literally, I remember like not too long. The reason why I actually played guitar, now that I think about it, was because I was like, Taylor Swift writes her own songs. I want to do that. That sounds like fun. And I asked my dad, I was like, how do I write my first song? And he was like, I mean, look it up. Like,
he doesn't know.
What do you feel? Write down your feelings. And a pre-training therapist me was like, I okay, great. Like, what am I feeling? So, fun story, not gonna drop names, obviously, but was 7th grade, I wrote my first song. It was called With You.
Okay.
We'll probably never play it again.
It's one of those songs, yeah.
It's one of those songs, and it was about this kid in 7th grade I had a huge ass crush on.
Yep. That's what a lot of people, I mean, I wrote songs about crushes growing up, you know. That's that's a big influence when you're growing up, you know.
Yeah.
With crushes. So that's, you know, very common, you know.
Yeah, and it was just this kid, he played baseball, and I mean, even to this day, like, I love baseball players. Like, I love baseball.
It's something about it.
Yeah, and I sang it for, like, at our school talent show. It was like, I was so excited. Found out it was about him. Never talked to him again.
Oof.
I don't think I ever sang it again after that. And then I was like, well, this is kind of embarrassing. Whatever.
A lot of celebrities too, not to cut you off, a lot of celebrities, man, they have songs like John Mayer has songs like that him and Taylor Swift sang together,
Yeah.
and he does not sing that song anymore, and he hates it. He's like, don't fucking bring it up. You
Yeah,
know?
like, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, like, I think we call it, like, I call it with I co-write with my friend Jamie Steinbach, and we call that like my middle school era of songwriting.
Yep.
Where like literally the first 6 or 7 songs I wrote were just about that one guy.
Oh wow.
And now he's playing for the Baltimore Orioles.
Wow.
And his family owns Aroma Joe's.
Oh, wow, good for him.
So I'm like,
Wow.
okay, cool.
Ah, dang it. That song didn't work.
It's okay.
Dang
My
it.
boyfriend's an accountant, so whatever.
Hey, there you go. There you go. You struck out on that one. There you go. So now we're talking like how now we're talking a little bit more about your original music. How would you say your music has developed over the years? Because you said you wrote your first song was 12, which is amazing. Like not many people can do that when they're 12. Most people, I mean, for me, I was collecting caterpillars, I think. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think I was writing songs at 12. So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
So now how old are you now?
I'm 22. I'm actually almost 23.
23. Hey,
Yeah.
I just turned 23. No, I turned 24. What am I talking about? I wish I was 23.
I was like, you're definitely
Maybe I'm going
older
back.
than
Yeah,
me.
no, I'm 24. See, it just happened. It was May. It was last month. So I'm still getting used to calling myself 24.
It's all good.
But like, so yeah, that's been a while, obviously, for you playing music. So how has your music developed over those years?
Yeah, in so many different ways, and I was actually talking to my friend Jamie last night about this.
Yeah.
How again, like there was like that one era, the middle school era, and then we moved into like the high school era where that was just, I mean, high school's a mess and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that,
everyone.
but
Mhm.
as I started to really decide that music was something I really, really wanted to pursue, and just kind of keep going with it and keep songwriting.
Yeah.
I realized that, like, I think, sorry, we're going to go on a little off topic right now, but I remember, like, I was watching, one of your other podcasts with Jake, and you guys were talking about how, like, as a musician, like, musicians are always, like, starting off with love songs and writing those love
Always.
songs.
That's what we're talking
And,
about, man. Yeah.
And that's, like, as I said, like, that's something I started off with, but as I got to, like, senior year of high school into college, I realized there's so much more out there I could be writing about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are so many people, specifically my age at 22, who are going through so many transitions in their life. And so I wrote like a few songs just about that. I wrote one called Grade A Stress, which is about being, like, literally it's about being stressed
Grade
out.
A stress, yeah. That's
And-
a great topic right there.
Yeah.
You can tell that's a bold title right there, so you know, like, that's all right. I haven't heard that one yet, so I gotta listen to that
Yeah,
one.
I'll play it later.
Yeah, maybe we'll play it during the intermission.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Grade A Stress, and I actually was talking to you about my song Don't Wanna Adult.
Yep.
And like that's one I wrote recently because there are so many people out there, again, who are my age, who get thrown into this world
Absolutely.
and are like, oh, I got to adult right now. Like, what even is that? Like, what am I, how am I
Especially kids
supposed
coming
to
out of
be this
college, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's where I just came from. I'm in grad school right now. So like I guess I'm not like done yet, but
Yeah.
like still like you get to a point where you're 22, you finish college and your parents are like, "All right, you're paying your tuition by yourself now. Oh, you're going to be paying for your phone now." And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, real life slaps you in the face real hard.
Yeah, for me it was actually earlier in college, because for me, like, just to feed off of that, I actually left my house when I was, I think, 17. Like, I was, because I used to play hooky and like skip school all the time, because I used to go to mass and street perform and like do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not really to make myself look like a great person right now, but like it benefited me a lot and it made me like really develop as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I got to, like, I was playing my phone when I was like 18, you know, by like 19, 18, and then I had like my own car and everything, and that sucked. So like off of that, like it did, like it hit me early in life, but like it sucked, you know, like just to figure like, oh my God, I have to get a job now and do all this stuff. And like that can have a really strong impact on a musician, because that's what your whole motive is. That's what your topic is gonna change about your songs is now you're facing these instead of love and everything. And you know, yeah, like I think that's really fascinating. One thing I want to talk about was challenges I think songwriters should do. You know, Prince was a very influential, like he was a big influence on me. Sorry, that was a big word.
No, I got you.
And he writes a lot of songs, and one thing he used to talk about was like writing songs about anything, like anything. And I actually adapted this because I wrote a song about my cat, and like just because, or like writing a song about like an apple, you know, and trying to like use that as a metaphor for something or something, like, and just doing that and writing 5 songs a day. Like he just said, write 5 songs a day, and it can be literally about anything. It can be about taking a poop. It could be literally anything you want it to be. Maybe not the first one, because that'd just be kind of gross. But I'm sure you can make some funny metaphors about that, you know, like, God, and because of that, you have like, you get over this like barrier in a way, you know. Have you ever faced that with a barrier of a song? You're like,
oh my gosh,
how do I go about this?
So actually last week, so my goal for myself, especially during like this whole quarantine process, has been to write 1 song a week, and to learn
that's a great goal,
songs a week. So me and my friend Jamie decided we're gonna start doing this together, because she really wanted to. So last week we just wrote a song actually called Like Water Does.
Like Water Does.
And everything, it's like I say I don't write many love songs anymore, but we actually wrote a love song. Maybe to Hosier, I don't know, but like either way. And like everything is in reference to water.
Oh,
which
wow,
is like really cool. But I don't know if you've ever had this issue, but like we got to the second verse and we got maybe halfway through it, and then we're all of a sudden like, now what do we do?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's happening.
How do we finish this?
Yeah. What do I go with words? What do I do? Yeah.
And I think we sat for like 3 hours at the piano, and we're like not 3 hours, maybe 2, but anyways, long time, and had no idea what to write down on that paper.
You know what's funny that you talk about that, and one thing I've learned that helped me kind of get over those barriers is because with me I used to, not during now with the COVID, but I used to gig out like every day. So every day I'd have a gig, and when I stumbled upon like a part where I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do, like I just stop, take it on the road with me, play it that night, and kind of maybe hold off on it for a couple of days and play it those nights, and then try to challenge myself to come up with something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's like ad lib or something, that thing could easily become the bridge, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's such a great way, like stop thinking about like, oh, maybe I like writing, because when as a songwriter, when you're thinking about writing a song and you're like, oh my God, that pressure, it adds up when you're stumped, when you're like, I don't know what to do. And like, if you just think about like, well, let's just jam over it. Let's just jam, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard writing songs, and
it's definitely difficult. And I know like my way to kind of get through that barrier, and like, don't do this if you're under 21, but like I literally drink wine. Like I pour myself a glass of wine and I say, okay, this is gonna help me through it. Sometimes I blast Dolly Parton, depending. Like literally, we'll have I think like a
Jolene.
Yeah, like I was on the phone with my boyfriend a few weeks ago, and he was like, "What have you been doing today?" And I was like, "Well, I can talk to you for 5 minutes because like I need wine and I need to blast Dolly Parton." And he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I gotta finish a song, like I'm on a roll, like I'm stuck, we gotta finish it.
Yep.
We're gonna drink wine. And he's like, so you're just gonna leave me? I was like, yeah, like I gotta do this.
Yeah, no, that happens. Honestly, I've talked with a lot of musicians that, you know, they say for some people when they're trying to write, they smoke, you know, and that's a very common thing. Some people go outside, and I've heard people take walks and they record it on the MP3 player, put their headphones on, and they just kind of walk and do their thing.
Yeah.
And I've heard other people that just like they walk away from it completely and just like come back to it like a couple of days later, and like so there's all sorts of ways,
So
you
many
know.
things.
And
Yeah.
it's really interesting. So one thing I did want to ask you is, because you kind of have brought it up a few times, was that you are in grad school.
Yeah.
So what's that all about? Like, yeah, explain that.
So,
just for some people that don't know.
Yeah, it's all good. So I actually graduated in May 2021 with a bachelor's in expressive arts therapy.
Okay.
So for y'all that might not know, expressive arts therapy is it's a new upcoming field that includes the visual arts, so like painting, drawing, all that jazz, dance, movement.
That's really cool.
Poetry. Oh my gosh, I'm missing something. If any music therapy people are out there, help me out. Music therapy and drama therapy.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's really cool though.
Yeah, and the whole goal behind it is that if people are, let's say, like, I know, like, I have a lot of anxiety in life, especially right now, and the one thing that I turn to that helps me get out all those built up emotions is music.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people that's that way.
Hashtag songwriter. So like that's how I get it out. But some people don't resonate with music, so they'll go to dance or they go to theater.
A lot of reasons. Theater was my outlook. Like that's how I got into music, and believe it or not, because I grew up doing theater. I started doing theater when I was 6, and I was really bullied in like elementary school, so like that was like really like the biggest output for me was the stage and everything. And I mean I'm talking like Music Man, Peter Pan, all this stuff, and I did it for years. Years. Like it was a big part of my life, and so that's really cool that that's kind of involved in the music therapy. I didn't know that.
And like you know, it can be like combined where there are people who are like quote unquote expressive arts therapists. But like for me in grad school, I'm going to grad school for specifically clinical mental health counseling in music therapy. So, you know, like psychoanalyzing people, which is fun, and playing music. So like I actually... when Tiger King first came out.
Oh boy.
That's a big
Did you
topic.
watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh man.
I binge watched it in like 3 days.
Oh my god. Sadly, so did I.
And what happened is I came to a point, like, it's such good practice for so many upcoming clinicians to, personally, I think, watch a TV show or
a reality show.
Or like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And sit there with your diagnostic statistical manual of like mental health disorders and like diagnose people. So that's what I did with Tiger King.
That's really fascinating though. That's like that. I could easily see how that could be like interesting to do, you know?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. So the study of people in a way, you know what I mean? You're studying and evaluating some things that are going on and how you could go about that. Like that's really cool.
It's like really awesome. And like this past year and one thing I want to do is work with like oncology patients or cancer patients. Like that's my lifetime goal is to be a music therapist for that population. Yeah. But right now, like I'm finishing an internship where I'm working with older adults, 65 and older. Some of them have been like, I've met like 104-year-olds, which is amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and what I've been doing is I will go in and I'll assess them.
Wow.
And I'll be like, so let's play some music together. What's some music you like? Oh, you like Frank Sinatra? Do you know Fly Me to the Moon?
Yeah. And you guys jam to Fly Me to the Moon.
And we just jam to Fly Me to the Moon. Right now we can't do this, but like sometimes we'll take out like instruments or right now with like COVID going on, I do like my sessions online.
Wow. So Skype or something like that,
so
FaceTime.
Like, yeah.
That's really cool.
So we'll do that, and like we always start with like one song that they enjoy for like an opener. And I've actually incorporated like some exercises into it.
Do you ever get Frankie Valli? Do they ever ask for Frankie Valli sometimes? Really?
Sometimes.
Oh, that would make my day.
Sometimes the younger older adults. That sounds weird to say,
Really?
but like usually we'll ask for that. But like I've had one patient who asks for like Bob Dylan, or he's actually asked for, he knows who James Taylor is.
Yep.
But like I haven't had many people ask for Frankie Valli.
Yeah.
But some people have, and I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I love Frankie Valli.
Me
That's
too.
Like that's awesome.
I actually saw him in concert.
What?
Yeah. I saw him in concert 5 years ago.
Jealous.
He was like just turned 80 years old.
I know.
On Meadowbrook Pavilion stage. Wow. 80 years old, rocking it out.
Still
like,
got that voice and everything.
Yeah, he was actually singing too.
Wow.
And I was like, this guy is legit. He
he's legit.
He's legit.
No, it amazes me, that whole story. But anyway, I want to talk to you about like being a music therapist, because that's really cool. And like, how long is it for schooling to go for that? Because you're talking about grad school. So now I'm, just for viewers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, why?
So
how long? I'm sorry.
It's like 4 years. You got to get your bachelor's, but the problem is like you can't become a music therapist with just a bachelor's. You have to get your master's degree, especially if you want it to be a clinical job. So that's why I did it. I was like, I want to do something clinical.
No,
I don't want to just be an activities director at like, some assisted living.
You want to actually do like music.
I want to literally want to psychoanalyze people, but like I was like, I really want to like make an impact in people's lives.
No, because,
for sure. Like even just from a musician standpoint, like music is such a powerful tool.
It really is.
It is so powerful. I don't even know where to go from there. Like there's nowhere to go from that.
Let me tell you this. I know, I don't know what this tells you about me, but this is how strong music is. Every time I hear Aruba, Jamaica by the Beach Boys, I cannot resist. Like literally, it's like crack for me. It's like you turn it on, I'm like, oh, there it is. I don't know what's happening, but my body's doing something. Here we go. So that's how I can tell that music is a very powerful thing.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, and like I don't dance at all, but like Mamma Mia soundtrack comes on and I'm like outside and I'm vibing, I'm dancing, I'm
absolutely
doing art. I don't even know what.
Now, what is usually music therapy? What are the majority of clients using that for, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it like really depends on the population.
Right.
It's not going to be the same for everybody. Every music therapist is going to have a different definition of music therapy and what they do. So like for me, I honestly don't have a definition yet, like a personal definition, because I'm still trying to find that out and discover this through grad school and through my career.
So you're still learning as you go.
Yeah. So, but again, it really depends. A lot of my patients will use it for like anxiety or depression.
Okay.
So a lot of the patients between, my internship and like just volunteering outside, a lot of them are going through like really rough times. That's and it's something that's really helping them. Like when somebody is just feeling depressed and just not feeling like themselves, I guess you could say. Like I've seen such dramatic changes in people who are lying in bed all day and just they don't want to move. Right. You don't want to do anything. So once you bring the music in, they're like motivated. Like they're motivated to do something. Yeah. And that again says so much about music and how powerful it is. Yeah.
There was a time where I did a show, and I mean this has happened multiple times. Like there was this place I used to play at where this girl, and it was like the saddest thing because like this girl would always be there, like a little girl, and she was like, I think she was like, she didn't have any parents. Yeah. And the grandmother kind of like took care of her, but like didn't really do anything. Mm-hmm. So she just let the kid run around, and the kid would always dance to my music. I'm talking like front and center. Like this little girl would be all about my music. And like at the end of the show, she would always like give me a drawing and stuff like that. And like one of the waitresses came up to me and they're like, this little girl, like every time you're playing, she's looking forward to your show. And like, she doesn't, there's nothing else really, You know what I mean? And like she looks forward to this, and this girl was glowing, this little girl, and like that literally I had to go outside and like smoke a cigarette and cry, because I was like, that was like heavy. And you know, and like and that just shows like that music is like that impactful, that like it's great that people are using this as a therapy now, because like it really is. And even for musicians, not even just like for music therapists, but for musicians to look at it that way, that, you know, don't look at it as like, oh, I can make a career out of this, but if you look at it like, I can help people with this. You know what I mean? It really changes your whole output. And I think that's a really cool tool and like a job that you are going for, because I think that really goes hand in hand with if you were to become a musician, because that's not many people can say that. You know what I mean? I
definitely think that not only like from like a therapy psychological standpoint have I learned a lot. Just I've only been in grad school for 1 year, and I have one more year to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I've learned so much as a musician. Like I didn't go to school for music specifically. Like I know you were at Plymouth and you were music.
I went for vocal performance, which I'm glad I left that, because you don't need a degree in that.
Like
you don't. Yeah, like, you need it for like music therapy, like teaching.
Music therapy, you need that. Because I'll be honest, like if you have a musician that comes in and they can't sing for shit, that is usually not going to do anything for the patient or the client, and that's a problem.
That's just going to make them more anxious. Yoko Ono sitting there doing therapy.
Like, honestly, but like I actually almost went to Berklee College of Music for undergrad, and
really,
honestly, like I mean, I wish I went there. I love my school, but I am also really glad that I didn't go there.
A lot of money.
Because that too. But like I've learned so much just from this 1 year grad school about music and music theory that I didn't know before. Like I didn't know modes existed.
Oh, really?
I had no idea what a mode was until 4 months ago, maybe.
What? Like Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian?
I had absolutely no idea.
Bro, I'm sorry.
No idea. And then I was like, what? What's a mode? And then my professor was like,
Fish.
What?
Grateful Dead. What? Here you go. Yeah. If anyone ever came out to me, like a musician or anyone, they're like, what's a mode? Like I literally hand them Fish, Grateful Dead, Twiddle, like all these jam bands. I mean, even though what they're known, like the rep they're given, just if you actually just like stop and listen to them, it's nonsense.
And it's so ridiculous. Yeah, because like now that I know what a mode is, like
Eric
I'll
Clapton.
listen to like Eric Clapton, John Mayer or somebody, and I'm like, oh, that's some Phrygian mode.
Dorian,
Dorian, and I'm like, okay, like I know now. So it's like just so impactful to know those things. And as a musician, I'm again like writing tons of music now because I have the time. I have the time to do it. So, and the ability. So now I'm like every now and then I'll like go to those modes and I'm like, oh, well, what if like we look at Phrygian, or what if we look at Dorian and see what happens?
Oh yeah. Have you ever thought of like not involving a minor to a major key too?
No.
Like you take you start with a like say for example like your chorus is major. You have a major chorus, but then it goes into a minor verse, and then it transitions, and so it gives it depth and color and everything.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do that.
I have thought about it. And I'm like nervous to use it because I'm like, how insane is this?
I use that so much in all my music, literally, and especially with soloing. Like, and the person who taught me that was Derek Trucks band. I don't know if you're familiar with them, the Allman Brothers and stuff like that. Derek Trucks. He just talked about like soloing and guitar and how a lot of people just stick with either, oh, I'm gonna solo a major or I'm gonna solo a minor. But if you combine the two, you just like it's like you're opening a door. You know what I mean? And it's like a whole new other entry to music, and it's so much more fun. And it's just fun because you think like there's always that time, I don't know if you ever felt this, where you're like, I think I just learned so much music, I'm good. You know, like, I'm good, like, I feel great. And then all of a sudden you just go on YouTube and you just like, what the fuck is Phrygian? What? Okay, no, now I gotta click, and then
I don't know, you probably have this too, like my quote unquote proud musician moments where you suddenly are like, I did a musician thing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So like the other day, my cousin wanted to hear Shelter from the Storm by Bob Dylan. So I was like, okay,
wow.
like I'm going to learn it and cover it for you. So I did. And I was like, this key's too high. And never done it before, but like instantaneously my mind was like, okay, we're going to E. And then I was like, how did I magically just transpose this without writing anything down, without really thinking?
Yeah.
And I was like, what magical voodoo happened in my brain?
Believe it or not, that happens to me too much. That happens to Christina. Hates it. Like literally, I'm one of those people that when I hear a song, I can hear a song in like literally 0.5 seconds be like, oh, that's this song from this band and this record from this time and like this key. And then Christina's like, what how the fuck did you just do that? And it's just because when you've been doing that job, when you're doing something for so long and you've learned that song and you evaluate that song, you took it apart and put it back together again.
Yep.
It's a part of you forever. It's
Really?
going to be a part of you. And it's like a little like I said earlier, like when I hear Freebird, a part of me is like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah. I'm that way with, there's a song called, it goes like, call me. I cannot stand that song.
Yeah.
There was this mom in my elementary school who I went to my friend's birthday party, and she was dancing in a way that a 7th grader does not want to see a 42-year-old woman dance.
Oh.
And it was so
You were blinded.
Yeah, I was literally like, every time that song came on, I was like, turn it off. Turn it off. Get me away.
Yeah. No, I have a few songs like that. I can't think of them at the top of my head because I don't know the names of them, but like there's like, it's like this
but
one.
If you hear them.
It's like this one classic 80s song that this kid that I went to high school with like totally killed it for me.
Oh no.
Like it was just one of those kids I just never got along with, and then he was like, you know what my favorite song is? It's this song. And I was just like, now I'll never be able to listen to that song again.
Oh yeah.
Way to fucking kill it.
Yeah. That's so like, I'm afraid someone's gonna do that with like Africa by Toto.
Oh, that's already
like,
happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Africa,
like,
yeah. I don't know.
Love that song. That's like the song I start every car ride with.
Oh man.
Like,
I can't get into that one right now because it's everywhere in the radio. I feel like every time I'm scrolling through the radio, it's like dun 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 dun. And I'm like scan, and it's like the next part of the song to dun dun dun. Go to the next channel. Dun dun dun. This is playing on 6 different channels. What the fuck?
It's like in those movies where the person or the like protagonist of the story is like in the car.
Yeah.
And they're like upset about something going on and everything's like a sappy love song and they're
Symbolism.
like, oh my gosh, like I'm not listening to it. I think that happened in The Office at one point.
I think that happens in Scary Movie too. Yeah, like there's a lot of like those things. I love it when movies use like music to foreshadow something like that. Like I think it's just great.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, because as a musician, you're like, oh, I know what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, I've been watching Space Force with Steve Carell on Netflix, and they use a lot of like music that's talking about like space and everything, and like I'm just waiting for them to use Rocket Man. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that like one of these episodes, they're gonna do. You cannot do Rocket Man in the space movie.
Oh my
space
gosh.
show.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my gosh, I love Elton John so much.
Did you watch that movie with Elton John? Rocket Man?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was really good. The only issue was I saw Bohemian Rhapsody the night before.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
And
so good.
Like literally at that moment, I was at a beach house, so I was literally like, I'm gonna watch Bohemian Rhapsody. The next day my grandparents were like, we're gonna go see Rocket Man, and I was like, okay. So the issue was like Bohemian Rhapsody was just so freaking amazing.
So
and like
good.
I love Elton John so much, but I also like really love Queen. Like that's the one band I refuse to ever cover.
Right.
Ever. Like if somebody asks me to play a Queen song, I say no.
Yep.
Crazy Little Thing Called Love, I can because it's not their original song.
I love singing Somebody to Love. I don't know why.
That song so much.
Yo, there was this time that I got like, I don't know if this happens to you. Do you usually, are there some places that allow you to drink on stage?
Yeah.
So okay,
actually,
there's a place.
places.
Yeah, there's a place that allows me to do it. And when I sometimes allow that to happen, I stop caring so I can hit the ranges I've never hit before. And one time someone goes, Somebody to Love by Queen, and I note for note in the key of G, which is exactly how Freddie Mercury sang it, literally hit every note. And like at the end, I had all these dudes that were like 40, 50 years old recording it on their phones like, yeah. And I was just like, I've never been able to do it again.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
Because Queen is that good.
Oh my gosh, like they're so amazing. I did what did I do? I think in like May I did like a they had like that 30-day song challenge on Instagram. I don't know if you were a part of that.
I kind of ghost Instagram every now and then. I'm
Yeah,
bad with it.
usually do too. But I was like, literally had nothing to do except homework and was like, we gotta do something.
Yeah.
So for 30 days, not only did I post a different song from that song challenge, I made a cover of every song.
Wow.
So
that's dedication.
yeah, so I was like, let's do it. Let's see what happens. But there was one day, I don't remember what the theme was, but I was like, oh, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Like, that is that song. I think it was like a song you jam to in the car or something.
Everyone jams to that.
And
Don't stop me now, I'm having a good time. Yeah.
Like, again, a
Great song.
It's like on my car ride playlist.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much, but I said to the camera or Facebook, and I was like, I can't cover this. This
Yep.
is the song I chose, so I'm gonna play Bon Jovi instead. I was like,
I can't do Bon Jovi. I legitimately cannot cover Bon Jovi for shit.
Yeah.
Even when I transpose it, just can't do it.
yeah, I covered one Bon Jovi song. Another one, I didn't cover it, but like I play it for
Threw it
fun.
in there, you know.
Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
just a
that's
fun
it.
one to play randomly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great song.
Oh yeah.
But you're talking about, I always thought like with talking about the Elton John movie and the Queen movie.
Yeah.
I like, you know what? The reason why I couldn't get into the Elton John movie, and it was just because he's like, as messed up as it is to say, but he's not gone. He's still
No,
alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
You know, and like
Yeah.
usually you make those movies when they're gone to remember them and to like really show like that story. And like with Queen, it was like that. And like, I don't know, for Elton John to do that, I was just like, why are you
Why is this happening?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
great. It was a great film, but at the same time, I just couldn't get into it because I'm like, I couldn't get into it for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There are movies like, I haven't seen Judy yet, but like I love Judy Garland, and
I haven't seen
she
that.
had such a crazy just like
Oh, I have heard
Judy
about
Garland,
that.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
And that's something I am dying to see. But
be
like
crazy.
there are people like Judy Garland and Freddie Mercury they've like left a legacy.
A really true legacy.
Really
yeah.
big legacy on the music world.
Yeah.
And like Elton John's like stamped that legacy, but you're right, like
yeah,
he's still alive.
yeah.
So it was like really interesting to see this movie and be like, wait, you're
Yeah,
what's
like I
going
thought
on?
in a weird way, I thought it was kind of like posh. I was like, oh, because you just wanted a movie about yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I was like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like that's just like, this
Hollywood.
could sound really terrible, but I feel like in a way that's just like who he is. Like, honestly, like, I
True,
love my grandfather,
true.
but if I were to adopt a grandfather in my life, it would be Elton John.
Yeah, I know. He's such a
Like-
nice guy. He is a really nice
Yeah.
guy. Very, very proper.
Like,
Very proper,
yeah.
You know?
Like my friend Jamie and I, we call him like our gay grandfather. Like if we ever met, we listen to Elton John all the time. We're like, it's gay grandpa. Like he's here.
That's like, well, I mean, like, not like with Elton John, but like when I listen to Billy Joel, I'm like, that's my badass uncle.
Yes,
You know, I'm like, that's my badass uncle right there, because that's what every time I just picture Billy Joel being that badass uncle. Like, hey
Yeah.
kids, let me tell you a story about New York. You know, back in 1962, a lot of cocaine, man, a lot of cocaine. You know,
Honestly,
I don't
yeah.
know. Do you know the?
That's a good impression.
Do you know the comedian Joey Diaz at all? Do you listen to comedians?
So, I listen to some comedians, mainly John Mulaney, Ali
love John
Wong,
Mulaney.
and Bo Burnham.
Oh, Bo Burnham. Oh my God.
My boyfriend and I went to Myrtle Beach last August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last August. And he just got so sick of me at 6 a.m. seeing a Delta airline plane and going, we're Delta Airlines.
Oh.
Life is a fucking nightmare. Like the whole time. And at one point he was like, I feel like you can't be saying these things in an airport where people are like flying these planes. Like maybe we shouldn't be saying that. And I was just yelling, like sober as fuck, just running around the airport yelling that.
Yeah, no, sometimes I go around just doing really weird things in like places I shouldn't be. Believe it or not, before all this like COVID thing really was like really serious, it's funny and I feel bad now saying it, but this reminds you, this is when like before it was really serious. So this was just kind of like it was happening in China at the time, and people were hearing about it, and me and Christina go grocery shopping, and like this woman, like she's like in my way, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sick with the COVID. And then the woman just freaking bolted. And Christina grabs me by the shirt and she goes, you cannot do that. Like, okay, you cannot at all ever do that again. I go, okay, all right, I won't ever do it again. And then like long and behold, like 2 months, 3 months go by, and it's like I would be arrested if I did that. Like I would be absolutely arrested, cuffed, and stuffed right in like Walmart. And Christina's like, imagine if you tried to do that now. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, like honestly, like I didn't have to pretend at some points because like
allergies.
Oh my gosh, like once March 1st hit, I was blowing my nose every 30 seconds.
Allergies
like,
are bad, dude,
people,
right now.
I went to go visit my boyfriend in Portland, Maine, where he was working at the time, and I went to this amazing coffee shop. Forget the name of it, but when I figure it out, I'll recommend it to you. And they have like, it's so cool. They have coffee from all around the world. But anyways, I literally was sitting there working on my midterms, and the whole time people...
Look at you being a good student.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, I'm like a week ahead of all my homework right now. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, I was sitting at this coffee shop, and like, I didn't even have to worry about people sitting around me because I sat there with, no joke, a roll of toilet paper that I took from his hotel, and was like coughing and sneezing, and people were like, oh no, she got COVID, but didn't like say that, but we're like running away from it.
You could feel the judgment happening. You're just like, oh God.
People would like give me dirty looks and walk away, and I was like, I have allergies. It is the pollen. Yeah. Everything's pollinated.
There was a woman the other day, a couple days ago. We went to Marshall's, and like we were in line, and there's this woman literally behind me, and she was sneezing and coughing, and this woman like turns around, and she was in front of me. She looks at the woman, she goes, ah, really? And then like goes around, like, and then I'm just like, are you joking me right now? Like, are you serious? Like, it's New England in the middle of spring.
Pollen is everywhere.
Pollen is everywhere.
Yeah.
Second of all, like, we're just getting into spring, so people are obviously adjusting to the weather. Yeah. You know? Third of all, like, come on now, really? Like, have some common sense. You don't know this person. Yeah. And it was this old woman. Like, it was an old, like, little old woman, and I was just like, and she was like, thank you, man. Like, thank you, young sir. And I was like, don't even thank me. Like, I can't believe people are taking it this seriously. Like, relax.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, yeah, like, honestly, like, this is the worst time, I think, for any musician to be doing gigs. Because, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I actually told my supervisor for my internship when COVID started, and I was like, I just want to let you know that my throat will not, like, close up fully, but, like, it's gonna be heavy, and I'm not gonna be able to sing some days. So, like, I can't imagine, like, any other musician going through the same thing. Like, that's so difficult. No,
it's really hard. And like, it's funny you say that, because a couple of weeks ago when I started doing gigs again, I was like, I had the mask on, and I like had this tickle in my throat, and I'm just like, oh God, I can't cough right now. Like, I can't. Like, you just can't. What do I do? And like, there's people eating, so like, I obviously can't do it. So I just held it in. And right when I get in my car, Christina's with me. I get in my car, and I was like, ah, like I was like dying. I was like, that was in my throat for 3 hours, like, all because I just had this freaking tickle. Yeah, you know?
You just can't, like, you can't cough. Like, I'm sneezing all over the place when I'm outside. Can't do that either. Yep. And it's like.
Hey, well, this is a great place to take a little break and right now, and we're going to transition. Taylor, I'd like for you to explain your music after and everything, and kind of get more into depth of that. And guys, stay tuned for us in just a little bit. We're going to be just right back, take a little break. So I'll see you guys in just a momento.
Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time, so I might as well make a video or post something on YouTube. So it's my podcast. Cool.
All right, let's do a little check. Check one, check two, chickadee, check three. Instagram before. So that's a new thing.
Yeah, I started doing that 8 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, here we go.
Oh no, it's a weird thing for sure. So Taylor, we are back live on the Quarantine Podcast with our guest today, Taylor Burnett. Taylor, what I wanted to certainly talk to you about was your music.
Yeah.
I have listened to your music for a while now, and I just want to pick some that were on your YouTube that I don't know. I just felt I kind of chose one that was like an earlier one when you were in the beginning, and then one like your newer ones.
Yeah.
So to start it off with like Be a Light, explain about that, because the meaning behind that's really positive. You know
Oh my
what I
gosh,
mean?
yeah. So I came up with this idea actually like a month or two ago.
Yep.
And when I, again, like go once a week, write a song, I came to it. It was like the next on like my idea list.
Right.
And I was like, went to my friend Jamie the first time I went to her and was like, this is too powerful of a song for one person to write.
Right.
I was like, I think this needs to be, it needs to be big. There needs to be two minds like
A
involved
duo.
in this. There needs to be something, because I was like, I want this song to have like this like gospel-y yet folksy feel to it.
Absolutely.
Because like that's me, like I'm a country folk musician.
Yep.
That's what I grew up on. But like with so many like stuff, like so much shit going on in the world right now, like I wanted to encourage people to be a light for other people.
Right.
Like,
Great message.
You like it. I think like the week we started was a week like I went to Target and like there was a lady who like just looked like she was having such an awful day. And I felt so bad. Like, you know, you go to stores and there are people who like they yell at like, you know, baristas or like the grocery store people, and I don't think that they realize that like it's not their fault.
It's the hardest
It's
time right now.
not-
Yeah.
It's not their fault. It's a really hard time. And like I just like I'm not working right now, but like I started to really feel for them and started to think like, you know, with this one lady, I literally went up to her, smiled, and I was like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit of my therapy
Yeah,
side.
I was gonna say.
I think my therapy side might have come out, but I was like, how are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's Taylor's therapist right there.
Like it just comes out.
Do you need a
sometimes.
30-minute like session right now? I got some time. I
Yeah,
could
and how
squeeze
does
you
that
in.
make you feel? But like I just could tell that like after just like even acknowledging her and just that one simple smile, like I don't know if it made the rest of her day.
Absolutely.
But
No, it
she
certainly
just
did.
seemed so much happier.
Yeah.
And like I mean, my aunt's a nurse, so like another thing about it too is like you got all these people not even working at grocery stores. You get people at hospitals that are working their like butt off.
Oh my God,
just
yeah.
to make
My
sure
sister works in
everyone's okay.
that field, and she's been working nonstop. I mean, it's tough what people are going through right now, especially essential workers. Like my girlfriend, she's an essential worker, and she's going in all the time and working more hours. And you know, it's hard when like people are just really, I don't even know, like ignorant. Like I don't even know what that
Yeah.
word is. They're just really just they don't look at the other side and what they're dealing with, you know. And like God bless those people that are doing it.
Yeah.
So was that like are you saying like Be a Light was pretty much just the anthem for these people?
Yeah.
You really. That's what.
100%. And like not even just like these people. I think it's like mainly for these people, but also just like everyone in general. And
Everyone's being affected by it.
everyone's being affected by it. Like I think that one thing people aren't recognizing is that like I mean I'm biased because I'm a student, but like there are so many students out there who are paying like tuition on their own or doing all this stuff who are getting laid off from their jobs and unable
Oh,
to
yeah.
collect unemployment.
Yep.
And it's like everyone's going, yeah, like
I'm like I've been doing the unemployment thing, but like literally I've been applying for like 14 weeks now, and I'm still like waiting. You know what I mean? And it sucks because it's like I'm just, you know what I mean? Like it's a tough ride, and everyone's in this boat right now, and it's like it's just so shit, man. Like it's such so like that's why I like when I was listening to your song Be a Light, it literally was like I've written songs like that, like Step Away from the Rain and things like that. So to hear another musician being like talking about that, I was like, fucking yes, like absolutely. I was like sitting there like, yeah, I can get down to it. I was actually listening to it earlier on here. I was blaring on the JBL speaker. I was like, yeah, it's a good tune right here. It's no, it's a good tune, you know. And that's why I definitely wanted you to talk about that. So that's really insightful information right there. It's crazy how just really like it sounded to me like this one person that you saw kind of get a little lashed at by a customer really resonated with you.
Oh my gosh,
and that happens with singers and musicians, is that it can anything can spark anything really. Literally.
I write songs about my dogs all the time.
Yeah.
Like parodies to songs.
Yeah.
Like Here Comes the Sun, I say, Puggy Wuggies.
We all do that, Taylor. I have so there was a time where, do you remember when all the squirrels were jumping in the roads of New Hampshire?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, Christina, God bless her soul, she's going to hate that I brought this up. She was notorious for like killing them, like hitting them on the road. Like she just because you know, like you can't really drive out of the way because like sometimes it causes an accident. So so like I made, you know, she's a da-na, da-na-na, da-na-na. It's like a classic 80s song, but I made a theme song for her, and it goes, she's a squirrel killer, road killer, killing everything out of sight.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, you're a heartbreaker. Yeah, it's that song. And she literally, like, till this day, she goes, I hate that you do that. Like, I hate that. You know, so that's funny that you do that. We're very similar right there. I do the same thing
all the time.
So speaking about like songs and everything, Fireflies, that's a very deep song, very vulnerable, very like listening to it. I think there was one point where I legit got goosebumps. I'm like, whoa, you can hear the subtleness in her voice and everything. So explain to me that meaning to the song. Where did it come from, and how did you go about writing it?
So I actually wrote that as procrastination from making my senior project in college, and as someone who at the time, like, I was graduating, moving on to like a whole different life, and wanted to write a song about just like that feeling of, you know, I went through 4 years of school and I wasn't alone. I was with all these other amazing expressive arts therapy majors, or major students, and we went through it together and built so many memories.
That's awesome.
So like my first verse specifically, the first time I think I ever wrote about like a personal place that like I'd been to and that meant so much to me. So like went to school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we were like Lesley University is where I went to, or still go to now, and it was in the middle of Harvard Square, which is like huge if you don't know
Cambridge.
what it is.
It's great. I'm like low-key jealous you got to go to school in that area, because it's every time I get shows in Boston, I'm in like Berkeley Square, and I'm in like you know, I'm going to Copley Center. I'm literally like, this is awesome. What I could do to just like live here for a month.
Literally that was like 4 years of my life.
That's
living
really cool
there most of the year, and it was amazing. I used to play at the Starbucks in Harvard Square. It's like this 2-story Starbucks.
That's insane.
You'd look right out the window behind you. I'd get free coffee, and look at the like behind you, and you could see like all the traffic and like
the harbor. Maybe is it near the harbor?
No, it's not.
It's deeper in the city.
It's like deeper in the city, so it's like you got Harvard Square here. No, not even close.
I'm not too familiar with Harvard Square. I've heard of it though.
It's right near Harvard Law. I will admit, I have told people that I go to Harvard Law School, so hopefully you're not somebody listening and realizing that like I go to Lesley University and not Harvard Law School, but like I would walk around with like a hoodie, like quarter zip thing. It would say blatantly Lesley University on it, and I would have people be like, "You go to Harvard?" And I'd be like, Yeah.
Yeah.
And people would believe it.
Yeah.
People would chase me up the street, and like, if you go to school in Cambridge, or if you're just living in Cambridge, every tourist thinks you go to Harvard, and you're
Really?
like, no, it's like, that's not true.
Yeah.
But it is for me, because I go to Harvard apparently.
That was even like me when I play shows at the Copley Center. You know, I do all these shows down there, and every time I'm doing them, like, all these people come up to me like, "Are you from Berkeley?" Like, no, I'm not. Like, you should. No, I don't really want to. Like, but it's weird, like, how everyone always, like, I guess that must be a thing or something like that. But sometimes I should soak it up and be like, yeah, I am. You know, send this town rat. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely, like, I have no guilt about it either.
Yeah.
Like,
I would. You know, honestly.
I literally said it to like half the people, because I was like, why not?
Why not?
I was like,
YOLO. You know?
that was like my rebellious stage in college.
So
I didn't party.
Yeah,
so that was
it's
it.
okay.
I didn't party, so that's what I did.
Yeah. Partying comes later in life. You're always gonna find time to party. You know what I mean? Like, always in life.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. So Fireflies was really talking about you moving and doing all this, like, new things and all that stuff. New things that were coming to your life. So that's really fascinating.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it's also like a song of celebration, because like, again, like, I wrote it like right towards the end of my senior year of undergrad, and it really, I think, also, again, song of celebration, where, you know, me and my two closest friends, Leah and Cassidy, like, we did it together.
Yeah.
We did it. We conquered this like huge thing that I think a lot of people, when they graduate college, they don't realize how much of an achievement that like can be.
Yeah, it is.
And how much work it is to get to where you are. So, and I think like when writing that, I really, again, life slapped me in the face, and it made me realize like, oh my gosh, like, I did that.
Yeah, and I guess that could easily transition to the next song that we were going to talk about, is Don't Want to Adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so give us a little bit of a background background about that song.
Yeah, so no joke, wrote it when I was watching The Bachelorette.
Everyone watches that show, man.
I watch it to psychoanalyze everybody.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like, I watch it to psychoanalyze and make fun of everybody. I wrote another song, but we'll talk about that later about it. But I wrote it while watching The Bachelorette, and I had just paid my first ever tuition bill on my own. And it was an accomplishment, but I also just like was sitting on my chair, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, Peter Pan, come get me.
Take me away. I don't want to be here.
Ready to go to Neverland. And that was the first line of the song that I wrote, was, where the hell is Peter Pan to bring me to Neverland? And then finished it at school, because I got this job for working for the Office of Residence Life at Lesley University, and realized I am working 9 to 5. I am doing all this homework and having to be a legit adult. Yeah. And I was
Shuffle it all.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't want, like, literally in my mind, I was like, I don't want an adult. And I was like, that's going to be a song. And that's going to be the name of the song. So here we go. And I think that, like, when I wrote it, I didn't realize how impactful it could be for so many people transitioning, because I think we said this earlier, like, when you're going from being a college student to the next phase of your life, whether it's grad school or getting a job, you're just kind of thrown into the air, and you're like, okay, there you go, get a job. And you're like, how? Like,
what am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do now? Like, how do I even apartment search? And nobody, like, there isn't like an instruction manual on how to do it.
No.
And actually, like, my parents were telling me how, like, when they were at my age, and I mean, they had me very young. They had me at actually probably 22 or 23. Wow. So about my age, they were kind of like bringing home their first kid. They were getting their first apartment, getting their first jobs.
A lot of families are like that, though.
Yeah, and they were like, there's literally no instruction manual on how to do this. Like, we get to raise a kid, and like, they didn't have internet then either. They didn't have their phones to just look it up.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Yeah.
I look at Christine every now and then. I'm like, so, like, kids, like, are there classes or like
what do we do?
What do I do? Because I'm like, I don't even know. Every time someone hands me a baby, I hate it. Like I'm always like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then you do the awkward like, okay, oh God. Yeah, this thing stinks. You know, it's always funny, but like how, you know, just something like that. Like how are you supposed to do that? And then on top of that, like have like a job and like do all this stuff and, you know, have an apartment or house or whatever it may be. And it's just nuts. And I think the whole point of it is you just learn. I mean, we're obviously human, so you obviously make mistakes, but you can just give it the best you can. Like really, I think that's the best thing you can really do is just give it the best you can. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's something I learned a while back, and ever since someone told me that, if I'm like really like truly lost, I will be like, hell, I don't know what to do. Like someone's like, what, you know, waving the flag and everything, because sometimes it's like, what the fuck can you do?
Yeah, I literally like try to solve issues on my own all the time, because I'm a strong independent woman, like I can do this, like I'm gonna Google it, like this is great. And then I run into situations, like I ran into a situation the other day where I was like, I think I'm getting scammed. Yeah. And I went to my dad last night and I was like, Dad, like I don't know what to do. Like, oh my gosh, like I go to my dad and my mom for like everything.
I think a lot of people do that. You're not alone there.
They are my rocks.
Hey Taylor, so I wanted to kind of like give you some time and talk to you about, after we talked about the music, and say like what is coming up for you with music wise, and what should your fans be expecting, anything like that coming up?
Yeah, so right now we're kind of like in this like weird transition phase because not a lot of gigs coming in. I'm sure you can relate to that. Yes. So what's great about this time, I think, for me and for other musicians, is I can personally now reflect and have room to think about what's coming next. So I'm actually starting to record a little bit, and found a way to do that for free. So that's awesome, because I'm broke.
We all are.
Yeah. So like I found this website where I can start doing that. So look for some new recordings. There's gonna be new music like at least every week. So
good for you.
It's gonna start coming in. Yeah. But I actually was telling you earlier that on July 28th at 6:30, I'm going to be performing at the Kittery Community Center. Okay. For the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. So
that's exciting.
Definitely stop by. Yeah, like lock it in your calendars. It's going to be great. They have a huge lawn and they have like some food, so you can go snack, listen. It's part of their concert series. I'm not sure who else is a part of it yet. I haven't gotten that, but super duper excited.
That's really great. Yeah. And what's a good place for people to find like your music or anything like that? Like what's the best way to see what's up and coming for you?
So Facebook is usually the way to go for me. Definitely go to Facebook. My page is Taylor Marie Music, or Taylor Marie -music. That part's important.
It's okay. The links will be in the description for that and all that stuff. So Taylor, it was a great time having you on here.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad like you got to be on here, and I'm glad people got to, you know, hear about your music, and I'm a fan of your music, so it's great.
Oh my gosh, that means a lot.
it's okay. It's really okay. I'm actually honored for you to be on this show, to like I said, to talk to you about the music and to just have your minute to express yourself and what you do. So thank you so much for being here. Really, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys like this stream, feel free to go follow me on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. I stream on multiple platforms, so you can literally watch me wherever. I mean, I think I'm going on like live in South Korea and Russia right now, which whatever. But I hope you guys have a good one. Stay tuned for tomorrow and for the rest of the videos. Much love, guys, and take it easy. All right, here we go. I'm doing it with my left hand, so this is really awkward. I'm gonna go to my right hand and do this. See, this is why we do this. We learn together, guys. And I'm awkward, so have a good one.
Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time. So I might as well make a video or post something on YouTube. So it's my podcast.